We are in Budapest for round 11 of the 2026 Formula One World Championship. The Hungaroring typically marks the grueling midpoint of the European leg, where the mid-season battle lines are firmly drawn. Up until this weekend, those battle lines have been painted entirely in Mercedes silver. Kimi Antonelli sits at the top of the standings, with 204 points and 6 wins already to his name. Walking into the paddock on Thursday, the consensus was nearly unanimous. Teams, pundits, and analysts all mapped out another clean weekend and another straightforward victory for the championship leaders. In a sport driven by telemetry and thousands of simulated outcomes, established momentum almost always dictates the final race result. But that math only holds up until a single session introduces variables no simulation can predict. Saturday qualifying delivered an immediate descent into chaos. Suddenly, the expected telemetry broke down as anomalies hit the grid's top teams in rapid succession. We saw a rapid-fire sequence of unforced driver errors, critical mechanical failures, and a highly contested shootout session that left the final qualifying times looking like a lottery draw. By the time the session ended, the structural advantages built up over the first 10 races of the year were gone. The qualifying incidents effectively reset the field, leaving us with the most unpredictable starting grid of the 2026 season. The disruption started with a massive penalty for the championship leader. Antonelli was hit with a severe grid drop after committing a yellow flag breach during a crucial run, instantly removing him from the front row. Mercedes then suffered a second compounding blow. George Russell experienced a sudden Q3 stoppage out on the track, forcing the team to make a critical power unit change for race day. That instability spread across the garage. Heavy hitters like Max Verstappen and Charles Leclerc found themselves outpaced, left searching for answers, as heavily upgraded midfield cars suddenly jumped them on the timing sheets. A grid penalty, a broken power unit, and a lack of ultimate pace. That specific rare alignment of faults effectively erased the season's top contenders from the front row before the lights even went out. Nature abhors a vacuum, and McLaren capitalized immediately. Lando Norris threaded the needle through the chaos, snatching a highly contested pole position, and admitting he was pleasantly surprised to find his car at the top of the grid. Sitting right next to him in P2 is Lewis Hamilton, but his position is highly precarious. Despite putting together a brilliant lap, Hamilton is facing an active investigation for a qualifying incident, forcing him to openly brace for what he calls a race of damage limitation. The front row is now a deeply fragile battleground. McLaren has genuine, unexpected pace, while Hamilton is balancing on the razor's edge of a penalty that could drop him straight into the midfield. To understand why this scrambled grid matters, we have to look at the track itself. The Hungaroring is often described as Monaco without the walls. Its narrow, twisting layout makes on-track overtaking notoriously difficult. This diagram plots the historical pole-to-win conversion rate. Because passing requires a massive pace advantage, starting first guarantees victory. But incoming weather threatens that data. Blistering 33-degree ambient temperatures will degrade tires, while a looming drizzle instantly alters grip levels. The combination of a scrambled grid, a narrow track, and shifting weather forces the pit walls into a high-stakes gamble, where a single lap's difference in timing could decide the race. So what actually has to happen for someone to win this? For Lando Norris, the condition is straightforward. If McLaren executes a flawless pit strategy and the track remains dry, his track position grants him the highest mathematical probability of taking the trophy. This line graph compares Antonelli's average 2026 race pace against the time lost in midfield traffic. While a podium is possible, winning requires a perfectly timed safety car that instantly erases that deficit and realigned their win probabilities for a late race sprint. Then there is Lewis Hamilton's path. Assuming he successfully avoids a grid drop, he has to rely on a veteran strike. He will need to leverage the psychological weight of his 106 career wins to pressure Norris into making a critical error in the opening laps. History tells us that the pole sitter usually controls the Hungarian Grand Prix, but as Saturday proved, 10 races of flawless momentum can evaporate in a single afternoon. When the lights go out in Budapest, the season's established hierarchy is no longer a guarantee.